If you're not used to giving speeches and presentations, or even if you are used to it in a different environment, it can be nerve-wracking to give a wedding speech. And many people get too caught up in the pomp and ceremony of the day to relax and enjoy the honor. One thing that you should always bear in mind if you start to get nervous about a wedding speech is that this will be the easiest speech you'll ever have to give in your life. Every one of the guests is there to support the bride and groom and make sure that they have a great day. This is what they're agreeing to, even if it's only subconsciously when they arrive at the wedding. This means that rather than upset the wedding party, they will laugh at all kinds of jokes, even if the punchline lands a little thin. They will applaud all kinds of personal stories and lift the speakers up on their shoulders, usually not literally, with any kinds of grandiose wishes for the future. So once you've put in the work by following along with this course, your speech is going to be fantastic, so you have nothing to worry about. Having said all that, some people might still be nervous, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. The energy can be very useful when you start off strong. The biggest don't when you're getting over the nerves is, don't try and have a few drinks to steady the nerves or get some Dutch courage before the speech. This will never end well, and you're likely to ruin all of the hard work that you've put in by slurring or missing the tempo and everything that you've practiced completely. Remember that once you've practiced your speech a few times, with the gestures and with the pauses in place, you will naturally feel more comfortable delivering the lines. And when you remember that everyone who is there is going to give you so much leeway that even if you do pause occasionally where you hadn't meant to, or you can't remember your next line and have to glance down at your notes, they won't be marking that against you. A common trick to do before a presentation is to do a kind of power pose. You can do this in the bathroom a few minutes before the speeches start if you like. Instead of sitting all slumped in your chair, go and stand, feet shoulder length apart, and put your hands on your hips and raise your chin. Some people call this the superhero pose. You can feel a bit like a fool when you do it standing there, so it's best to do it in the cubicle if you don't do it too often. What this pose does is it subconsciously gives you more confidence. It's as if your body sees that you're becoming a superhero and releases the necessary chemicals to get you through the task. When you get back to your seat, sit upright, looking slightly up, not at the ceiling or people will think you've had too much to drink before your speech, but just slightly up to maintain a bit of the pose. The best way to deal with nerves, though, is to be fully prepared. In your practice sessions, try throwing the papers away in the middle of the speech or being forced to remember them on the spot. Better still, jot down all of the key points on 1 or 2 cards and leave the script entirely and give the speech from those notes. Paraphrase if you like, and try not to look at these for longer than a glance to keep you on track. Figure out what you're going to say in such a way as you don't need the notes, so if you get lost along the way, you won't fall apart. You've done all the work and you know your speech inside and out. Basically, if you think you're going to be nervous during the speech, the more you practice beforehand, the more relaxed you will naturally feel on the day. Just as the person speaking ahead of you is wrapping up, take some deep breaths, close your eyes, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, subtly and quietly. Everyone is still going to be looking at the person speaking. Now you're ready. You're sitting up straight, you're breathing deeply and purposefully. You are fully prepared and ready to deliver. You are going to be fantastic and your speech is going to be amazing.